name is Dan Hawes. I'm the co-founder of Graduate Recruitment Bureau, GRB. Chances are you might have heard of us. We may have met at a Freshers' Fair at Nottingham or a Careers' Fair. GRB are the go-to platform for high-caliber university students, graduates and recruiters. We were established 23 years ago by myself and another business graduate. We've grown steadily. We have 65 staff, over 1,800 clients across all sectors. Companies such as Post Office, IBM, Unilever, Ocado, and several fast-growing SMEs as well. Our team of recruitment experts have successfully matched over 8,000 graduates with full-time graduate level jobs. Now, I had a quick look on our database at the moment. We have 1,700 physics graduating students. So they've all given us their CV, and we're busy helping them every single day, trying to match them with companies that we're working with. Now, I'd like to give you an overview, the context of where we are at the moment. Okay, so these are some of the headlines I've seen recently in the FT, the BBC, and the Guardian, and the picture doesn't look great. Things have completely flipped on their head for university students. The fact that lectures may go online, you're probably at home now doing your studies, some exams are being postponed, all sorts of things have changed for students, but also for those entering the workplace, it's become completely different. Now, what we're finding is that the whole episode hasn't really changed the nature of roles. It's just the way we work more remotely and having less travel. So we're actually confident that there are jobs out there and there are various upsides to this situation, believe it or not. But I want to give you as much reassurance as possible. We've had downturns before. We've been through 9/11, the financial crisis of 2008, but nothing of this magnitude. But there are ways you can make positive steps through this. And I want to give you as much reassurance as Sarah, Katie and Josh have given you as well. So the situation we're in, there are about 500,000 graduates about to enter the jobs market, all looking to repay their £50,000 worth of debt. So the jobs market will be flooded with lots of graduates, plus lots of people who have been made redundant. So it's going to be very competitive. We are in a recession on a global scale, but projections are for a return to normal economic levels, anything from 6 to 18 months. So we're in this for quite a long time. Now, the recruiters we're dealing with or through our network, we are learning that they're either deferring start dates or postponing recruitment. These are with the large FTSE 100 firms you will be familiar with. So no one has actually stopped recruiting, which is the good news. In the last financial crisis of 2008, some big names did actually stop recruiting. So I think companies now realize that graduates are their future. The talent pipeline needs to be coming through. And at the end of the day, they are cheaper hires than taking on experienced full-time staff. So hopefully that lesson has been learned, certainly with the bigger firms. SMEs, on the other hand, will have cash flow issues. Some are struggling to survive and their priorities are very, very different. So it is a very mixed bag out there. In terms of sectors, some are contracting, obviously aviation, tourism, hospitality, but other sectors are expanding and going to benefit from the situation we're in, such as finance, fintech, health, medicine, and those kind of sectors. Now, if full-time jobs aren't safe, then entry-level jobs do come under question. And for a lot of recruiters, they will be thinking, do they need to hire graduates at all, or will they trim down? So there are quite a few companies who are starting to question whether they need to take on entry-level people at the moment. Now, for graduating students, this is a very anxious time. Making your first steps into the world of work is daunting enough. Now, for some, this will be a steep learning curve, and it can be easy to slip into a negative mindset. Graduates will also become risk averse. They may choose safer options that offer more financial security. So they may not work for companies that are just starting up. They may feel that teaching offers a more safer option. So there will be changes of approach from many graduates in this situation. Some degrees may not have prepared graduates for jobs that are available in this new economy. The good news is STEM subjects like physics are always in demand. And Katie was talking about some of the transferable skills. I think that's a very important point to remember. Your degree and your skill set is certainly desirable now more than ever. Other degrees are harder to justify in employers' eyes. So graduates who are have left their job hunting till now may face narrower options. There are those that applied for jobs at the start of the year, went through the interview process and had job offers ready to go in September. They are the lucky cohort. A lot of people have been focusing on getting their degree and are leaving their job hunting till now. So that's the situation we're in. But there are positive steps we can give you to move forward. Now, Josh also talked about this in his presentation about your motivation and doing yourself justice. So do not lose sight of your career goals. You may have to take 2 or 3 different routes to get there, but don't lose sight of the ultimate career that you seek. That's very important, your overall goal. I mentioned before, some sectors will be contracting, so aviation, tourism, leisure, hospitality. Look at the sectors that are seeing an uptick in their business, certain areas of retail, any in-home service that we're seeing, delivery services, things like that, healthcare, fintech, cybersecurity, analytical firms, technical consultancies, are all companies that are using us right now to hire STEM graduates. And also all the other suppliers within these sectors. So you need to be a little bit more creative and start to look at these sectors and really identify where these opportunities will exist right now. The jobs market is always changing, and right now these are the sectors that are looking for talent. Now, it's mindful to keep moving forward and build your CV with skills that employers will value. So use this time productively as much as possible. Think of the skill sets that you are going to need. Look at the job descriptions of adverts from employers and make sure that you have got an employable skill set as much as possible. Don't lose sight of that. And your career service will help you get an understanding of your skills and where there are gaps and the things you can do to fill those gaps. Use your time productively right now. Take small steps, gather momentum. Particularly, we're giving a lot of advice to graduates about practicing virtual interviews right now. Interviews at the best of times are a nerve-wracking experience. Now, a lot of employers are doing this virtually. So that requires a bit of practice to get comfortable speaking to camera, making sure the sound and the audio is good and the background isn't going to distract from you. So I think taking time to practice these new selection procedures that are taking place remotely will be a good use of your time. Now is really important to try and get noticed. So use agencies like GRB, use LinkedIn, job boards, your career service, get your CV out there as much as possible. Now, one thing we always advise is sending speculative applications. Now, this is where you identify maybe a dozen companies who may not actually be advertising for anyone on their website. But if you do your research, find out the projects that they're working on or new business that they've won, you could produce a really tailored CV that could really impress them with your skill set that make them think that we need to hire this person to get these projects over the line. We've seen it work. It takes a creative approach for these things to bear results, but it's far better than sending out thousands of CVs with all the other applicants out there. Take a horizontal view and look at the different companies out there that may not be advertising in the hidden job market, as we call it, and you may find a role that you could create if you introduce yourself in the right way to the right employer. Now, I talked about making the most of your time while you're in lockdown, because the inevitable question at interview will arise: what did you do in lockdown? So apart from practicing interviews and things like that, what else could you be doing? We've seen graduates who are doing online learning, sharpening up various skills, IT skills particularly. There's lots of free courses out there. Harvard University, Open University provide free online training and modules and things like that. Volunteering, if you can, or any contract or part-time work will be good to add to your CV and ultimately answer that question with conviction. You don't have to go into the job market. If you think, you know what, I'm going to take some time out, you do have other options. You could go abroad, you could start your own business. A lot of businesses start up in recessions, or you could decide to stay at university and do a postgraduate course. Now, that will cost money, but it may give you the option to study something else to top up your degree and put you in a stronger position in 12 months' time. So you do have other options. And I'd like to leave you with this final encouraging point. In the last recession of 2008, a lot of headlines put graduates off applying for companies. Not all sectors were the same. Obviously, in that situation, the financial sector was really badly hit and many companies stopped recruiting, but other companies weren't affected. But they did experience a shortfall in the autumn because the word had got out that there were no jobs, but in actual fact, there were still opportunities in the autumn. So bear that in mind. In the autumn, go back, particularly to the bigger companies with graduate schemes. You may find that some people haven't applied for their schemes or have taken other offers, and there may be a handful of roles going on graduate schemes. Many graduates think that they've missed the boat, but there are shortfall positions available in the autumn.